Hello students, how are you all? Welcome back to our economics class. Hope you are doing well past few days and you are practicing the notes which we have already written down while attending the online classes, and I also hope that you are practicing the concepts from the playlist option, like whatever the previous classes we have been discussing. Like I have been completed our maximum of portion, but now it's your time to just take out some time from your busy schedule. Might be you're getting busy with your household works or some or the other works, but this is also necessary. You need to take out just 2 hours, at least 2 hours. I'm asking you just one thing, just take out 2 hours especially for my subject, and it's up to you, take out for the other subjects as well. Just take out some time as soon as the class ends. Don't close your books, don't off your mobiles. Instead, stay determined, learn the concept, by heart the concept, and write it without seeing at the same point of time. I said all the students from MEC as well as CEC group must and should by heart the concepts and write it without seeing in your books. You are just copying and pasting the matter in your fresh notes doesn't mean that you are perfect. You're just copying in your notebooks, but you're not revising it daily. You're not practicing it on daily basis. I request all these students to by heart the previous classes, watch it, write it without seeing in your notebook, because anytime I may ask you questions from any topic which have been discussed earlier. You must be very spontaneous. Within fraction of seconds, you must be able to answer all my questions. So let us come back to our today's topic, which is from a new unit, that is unit number 4, production analysis. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic, types of internal and external economies. Types of internal and external economies. If you get a question in your board exam, like explain the types of internal and external economies, if it is asking you both, that will be for a 10 marks. If it is asking just explain the internal economies, or if you just ask explain the external economies, then that will be a 5 marks question. If you get both combined, that will be a 10 marks topic. So let us discuss internal economies today, and in our tomorrow's class we'll discuss what are the external economies. Let us go to the introduction. Industries of large scale production. Just listen carefully. Industries with large scale production get some advantages. Industries with large scale production gets some advantages or gives some advantages to its producers. Like there are many kinds of industry: small industry, tiny industry, large industry, mega industry. So there are many industries. We are talking about large scale industry whose production is on large scale. That means when the production is large, they will be getting some more advantages when compared to the small scale industry. So who are the persons who are getting the advantages from large scale production? The producers are getting advantages with the large scale production. So these advantages, okay, these advantages are known as economies of scale. What we have discussed, the industries which are busy in large scale production, or the industries that deals with large scale production, get certain advantages. Okay, it gives certain advantages to its producers, and that advantages are known as economies of scale in terms of economics. I cannot say that advantages. In terms of economics, I need to term it as economies of scale. So whenever any industry, let us take the example, the company name is ABC Limited. It is a large scale industry. If it is getting advantages, then I will, being as an economics lecturer, I will term it as economies of scale. ABC Company Limited is getting economies of scale, means it is getting certain advantages. So these economies of scale are divided into two types, internal economies and external economies. So in short, in simple terms, I can tell you that in this whole topic, we are going to discuss that any large scale industry, how they are getting advantages, in what ways they are getting advantages, when and why they are getting advantages. Let us see what is the definition of internal economies. So a firm, okay, when a firm expands its output, output means, for example, by using inputs we produce outputs. For example, if I am manufacturing markers, what I am doing, I am manufacturing this whiteboard markers. Previously, I used to manufacture 200 cartoons of markers, but now I have increased my scale of production. From small scale, I have increased it to large scale. That means instead of 200 cartoons of markers, now I am manufacturing 500 cartoons of markers. So now my output has increased. Now have you understood the meaning of output? Output means the final product. Okay, when I am expanding my output, so when a firm is expanding its output, it gets certain advantages in production. It gets certain advantages in production which can be divided into technical economies, managerial economies, marketing economies, financial economies and risk bearing economies. So whenever a firm gets certain advantages, that advantages are divided into technical, managerial, marketing, financial and risk bearing. So in this whole topic, I am using a term frequently, that is firm. Might be you are getting confused that madam you have written a wrong spelling. It is F-O-R-M, that is firm. I am saying as firm. Firm means, for example, if I have a building, it is having, this is the ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor and this is the fourth floor. How many floors I have? 4 floors. In each floor there are 2 partitions. Left side there is 1 apartment, right side there is 1 apartment. So each floor is having 2 apartments, 2 subdivisions. So this own building, the whole building which I am having is considered as an industry. The whole building is called as an industry, and the small apartments on each floor, like first floor there are 2 apartments, second floor there are 2 apartments, third floor there are 2 apartments, fourth floor there are 2 apartments. These subdivided apartments are called as firm. So all firms together will form one industry. Now you have understood what is the meaning of firm? Yes. So whenever a firm expands its output, expand means increase its output. Output means quantity, quantity of product which you are making. So whenever a firm is expanding output, it is getting certain advantages. That advantages are divided into technical, managerial, marketing, financial and risk bearing. Let us see the first one, technical economies. The large industries, especially the large industries, what they do, they use large machines instead of small machines. They use which machines? Large size machines. and latest technology which will minimize their cost and which will give them more advantages. For example, if labor is doing work and there are less machines, more labor, less machines means that is disadvantage for me because I need to give wages to every labor. Am I right or not? So keeping more labor and less machines is disadvantage for us. Alright, but the second condition is keeping more machines and keeping less labor, that is advantage for me. So here we need to keep more machines because a machine can do a work of 10 laborers also. One machine can do a work of 50 laborers also. One machine can do the work of 100 laborers also. But for buying that machine, you require lot of money. So small industries will have lot of money? No. Which industries will have? Large industries. So what they'll do? They'll have large machines. Okay. So no need to pay wages to the laborers. If I keep one machine, no expenses. I need not pay any salary to them. Once if I buy a machine for years and years, that machine will be helpful for me. So large industries will keep large machines which with latest technology which will reduce the cost and it will increase the advantages. Coming to second point, managerial economies. Large firms enjoy managerial economies. They have highly talented managers. Okay, they appoint highly talented managers with specialized skills. Highly talented managers with specialized skills. So they help in making better decisions. If you're not having a good person who is directing you, you're not having some talented person, okay, who is making good and proper decisions, you're not having talented managers, if you're not having specialized skills, then your business will be flop. No one will buy your product because nothing is unique in them. So in order to make your product unique, in order to increase the customers, in order to get more advantages and profits, you must have highly talented managers with specialized skills because they help in making what? Better decisions. Again, if their decisions will work, then you will get advantages. In introduction we have read that large firms will get advantages. Here also it is getting in advantages. Here also it's getting advantage. Let us see the third one, marketing economies. Big firms buy material in bulk. Okay, like for example, whenever any festival is there, any occasion is there, we just go and buy just one dress, right? So that is a small quantity. But large industries, the showrooms, okay, what they'll do, they'll buy the dresses in bulk. They'll buy 100, 200 pieces. So when you buy anything in bulk, the price will be less. So big firms buy bulk material, so they buy at less price. Instead of 10,000 rupees, you can purchase in 5,000 only. Then remaining 5,000 you can save in your pocket. That 5,000 you can spend on purposes like advertisements, marketing of your products. Through advertisements, people will be getting to know about your product. Through marketing, people will be getting to know about your product. So people will come, the customers will come and buy your products. So what we are doing here, we are buying the material in bulk and we are saving that amount. That large amounts we are spending on advertisements and marketing, which is a big advantage. So we have discussed 3 points: technical economies, managerial economies and marketing economies. So 3 points are done. This is our fourth point, financial economies. Financial means it is related with money. What is the meaning of credit? I have already said that borrowing money from someone and repaying it, giving the assurance that the amount will be paid at a later date. In simple terms, we call it as loans. Am I right? So large firms can borrow credit easily. Large firms can borrow credit easily, and the plus point for them is their goodwill will enable them to borrow at reasonable rates. For example, what is the meaning of goodwill? The name and fame of a company. Okay, the reputation, a good reputation, a well-known fame of any company or industry is nothing but what? Goodwill. So when a company is famous in the market, then everyone, every bank, every financial institution will be ready to give them the credit at reasonable rates, because they have one plus point, that is their goodwill. If you have good status in the economy, if you have good status in your society, then everyone will give respect to you, and every problem can be solved. Every problem can be solved very easily. In the same way, when the large firms are in need of capital, are in need of money, they can borrow it from the banks and institutions very easily. Without any hard work, they'll easily get the credit from the banks and financial institution, that too with reasonable rates. At very less rate of interest, they can borrow the credit from the banks. This is a plus point for them. This is all because of their goodwill. Good name and fame in the market will help a firm to borrow credit very easily. This is what financial economies. We have discussed technical, marketing, managerial and financial economies. Let us go to the next point, research and development. This is simply called as R&D. R&D, expenses on R&D means research and development. Improvement in technology, efficient use of resources, then improvement in the quality of products. This is all depending upon the research. Like whenever a company manufactures its products, it will spend some amount on research and development. It will spend some amount on research of the product. It will spend some amount on the research, like which technology should we use. So this is improvement in technology. By improving the technology, they'll get more advantages. Efficient use of resources, like completely using of resources without wasting them. This is called as sustainable use. Okay, without wasting anything, you are making an efficient and proper use of resources. This is all because of what? Research and development. The third point is improvement in quality of products. If I want to improve the quality of my product, I need to spend money on research. If I spend money on research, then I'll be getting to know like which quality I need to use, which quality of inputs I need to use, which quality of raw materials I need to use, which quality of technology I need to use, which quality of resources I need to use. This all information I am getting from whom? From research and development. When I have proper knowledge about everything, then I can start my production and earn large surplus and profits and advantages in my business. So this is all possible with whom? With the research and development. So this is called as research and development, which is our which point? Fifth point. The sixth point is risk bearing economies. Generally, large firms diversify their production activities of goods and services. Diversify means they won't manufacture one good, they manufacture many goods. Am I right? Like for example, in previous years we were having a brand called as Maggi. Okay, only noodles you used to have. But now there are many products of Maggi company, right? You are having pasta, you are having macaroni, you are having various masala powders. Okay, if you are making any curry, you are using those powders. So it is now not manufacturing only one product, it is having diverse activities. Like for example, if I have some business, okay, I have a business of selling clothes, I am having a textile business, and a side business I also have some other business. Alright, for example, if I have a restaurant also, for example, if I get losses in my textile business, I can cover it from the profits from the restaurant. In the same way, you can take the example, diversify its activities means not manufacturing only one product, more than one product. If you manufacture, then even if you get loss in one good, that can be covered with the profit of another good. So in conclusion, I want to say that you won't be getting losses, that loss will also be covered with the profit of something else. This is called as risk bearing economies. Even if you are having risk, you are getting profits. So what are the main points which we have discussed? Technical economies, marketing economies, then managerial economies, financial economies, research and development, and finally risk bearing economies. In the starting stages, you might be feeling that this subject is very tough, very confusing, you will be by hearting and again you are forgetting after some times. It's not like that. Just change your thinking, think that the subject is very easy, you can do it well. The thing is, it requires practice, practice, practice and practice. It requires hard work. Take out some time, practice this topic for 2 to 3 times in your notebooks. I am talking about writing work. Write it and learn it. Write it and learn it. Then tell the answer without seeing to you. Then finally write the answer without seeing. So this procedure will make you perfect. If you just see the topic and if you just by heart at once and say that I am not getting, that is not the solution to the problem. So I request all the students once again to practice all the previous classes plus the today's class very well in your free time. See you in the next classes with some more and new interesting topics. Till that, stay healthy, stay home and never stop practicing.